All right, welcome everybody. It is now 6 o'clock, and I'm going to start my stream. Pardon me. All right, you just saw her. If you got to watch that little excerpt there, that is the intro to the game Don't Starve Together by Klei Entertainment. Awesome, isn't it? It's so cool. Alright, you just met her. She just tried to save Wilson. If you've ever played the original version, you know that poor Wilson, he got trapped in here. He got lured here by another guy, another character. But I don't think it was that guy. I think he was trapped here too. I think maybe he did something naughty to get here. Don't really know. But then you met this nice lady. You don't really know who she is or what her story is yet. But I think she's the one that controls the entire nightmare world. And if you notice, she has a little trouble between good and evil. She kind of balances back and forth, and then she bounces back and forth, and then she finally finds her balance, just like most people, between good and bad. And I had some good players yesterday, some great characters that joined the game. Now, unfortunately, all the information that I give people, well, they can take the information, unfortunately. Watch my stream, watch my YouTube channel, or watch my broadcast on PS4, and they can go and they can take the information. Yes, unfortunately, they can grief people with it. They can try to go play competitive and show everybody what they can do. And yeah, they can cause other gamers trouble. So sorry gamers if I caused you any grief yesterday or last night, because I had a few players, they learned a little something and took that one or two tips and tricks. And yeah, I do have a bad feeling they went off and they griefed people with the information. But that's the way life is. I can give you everything, but if you use it for naughty reasons, I can't really control that. I'm sorry gamers if that happened, but we're going to get started today. Today I think, but we are going to start a new world. I am going to host. I don't think anybody wants to come back to that, world where there's day 10, day 21. But last night I played, and I really enjoyed it. But I started on the 5th day in a public forum, and I don't really broadcast public worlds because I don't want anybody, to be upset with me, or they may not want, their flubs and their actions to be broadcast to the world, because some players aren't so nice, some players are kind of naughty, but it's okay. But it was pretty rough on me. I got there day 5, and I came through the portal the same time another player played, and I asked him if he wanted to team up, but he kind of really didn't want to team up, even though we were playing Cooperative. He kind of wanted to go off and do his own thing, and that was okay. But with the game mechanics, the way it is set up, yeah, you can play every version. If you notice, I went and showed Cooperative, I went and showed, Social, I went and showed Madness, and I went and showed the buttons where you can change it for, for every other setting. But what you really have to remember in this game is that they overlap, so anybody can come into your game and play and grief you and try to troll you. They can, they could try and do previous broadcast on YouTube, or, while they were happening. Then you'll know that you can kind of get out of the situation they put you in. You don't really have to worry about it. It just takes some doing. It takes some time. Just takes a little bit of time, but I'm not gonna grief on anybody. I'm not gonna talk bad about anybody. Like I said, there's so many ways to play this game. It's just never ending. There's so many options and opportunities to play different styles, try it differently, and all that kind of good stuff. Alright, my little setup. And it is going to be a new world. I think once we get everybody, in, maybe. But we're going to try it. We're going to try to host again. We'll try to host to other players that want to play. And I guess I should tell them that I'm streaming live. So maybe we won't host today. I think we will. Let's just let them know in the description. and gamers. This channel is really all about game mechanics, so unfortunately, you know, other players in your world and in your game are part of the game mechanics. So you kind of have to do what you have to do, survive, because it is survival. Alright, let's play. Today in the beginning, before I get any players in, I'm going to go over the mechanics of the controller and what they do. And I tried to describe a little bit yesterday, but I was having trouble with my mic. It seemed to be cutting out, and the music was, because I think it was reverbing through my mic from the game itself. Maybe it was, you know, a little louder in some spots, and I was cutting in and out. And I do apologize. I'm going to try and go back in and redub the videos later on, and we'll try to fix all that for you. Now, normally I do like other characters, and I will be playing as we go along each character to show you the game mechanics. This was Maxwell. He's the one who originally tricked Wilson to coming into the game. Now, we don't know the association with Willow, Wolfgang, Wendy, WX78, and Wickerbottom, Woody, and all of these characters, Wes. We don't really know if they're related, if they're just friends that lived in the town, or, you know, and Weber, excuse me, and if they got trapped here with him. But if, you know, I were to write the story, that's probably what I would think, is that Wilson was the last one he trapped here, and everybody else seemingly may have been trapped here before, but it doesn't really go into those kinds of details. It's kind of left up to your imagination. But as the host today, I am probably going to go with the robot. I do like the robot, but you can play whatever character you like. And I won a gift of overalls, so I'm going to wear those. And like I said in previous streams and hosted games, on your L2, excuse me, your R2 button is kind of like checking your pulse. It kind of gives you your information of what your stats are at. And you're also, while you're checking your pulse, apparently you have your head stuck in your pockets, because you can access your pockets. You move things around, you can play a little bit more with them, and then you hit the circle button to go back out of that, or you can hit the R2 button again. Now your R1 and L1, they seem to rotate the map clockwise and counterclockwise. Now L2 brings up your crafting menu. Pretty simple stuff, really quickly, or you can hit the L2 trigger again. Then you have your left toggle that seems to help you walk around, and your right toggle, of course, you can always access the items in your pocket. And you don't have to stand still to do that. You can use one one toggle on the left to walk, and one toggle to move things around. Kind of like what I was talking before about juggling items. You can juggle items pretty easily. And to the game mechanics of planting and holding things, you need two hands to use tools. That's one of the game mechanics. So basically you cannot, pardon me, you cannot have a torch in your hand at night and, you know, use a tool, because like I said, you have to have both hands free to use a tool. And a torch, you have one hand for your torch, and you can have one hand on a berry bush that you're planting, or a twig that you're planting, or an acorn. As long as you have that one hand free, you can do it. And like I said before, with torches, once you have the torch, you don't have to stop. You can walk around. But I tried to show yesterday, you know, while playing. But of course, gamers want to play. They don't want to just come in and learn, you know, necessarily. You know, if they do, like the one player, he got some good tips and tricks, and then he went and used them on his friends because he thought I was maybe being derpy, and you know, I don't know what he thought. But hey, it's great information, and if you figure out the information, you can use it against your friends. But hopefully they don't. You know, they go and they use it against other gamers in the positive way, but you never know. But that's the game. The mechanics are set up so that you have those options, just like in life. You have the options to be good, to be bad, to be neutral. All depends on your personal style. Now if you notice, I didn't take time to waste making an axe. I don't really need it. I do need grass. Nightfall's coming up, so I will need to make a torch. Because when you make a torch, you need sticks and grass. And seemingly my target audience is around my same age, between 30 and 50, so that's cool. That way you can learn the game. I don't like a lot of bells and whistles in my broadcast and in my YouTube channel. You know, I think the information should come easily, should be concise. And then that way, if you are playing with your kids or you're playing with your friends, you can, you know, show them that, hey, you know, I've watched a couple of informational videos and I've tried to learn a little bit. And you won't die the first nightfall. Right, we spent a little bit of time on this rock biome. We have tons and tons of rock now, and it was really difficult last night when I played. I played in a world, like I said earlier, I had started day 5. So a few other players were already in the game, and we were playing with people from all around the world. There were people from Europe, one guy from Asia, one guy from Hawaii, and there was a girl there too, a girl gamer. They're kind of like unicorns. They're rare, but they are growing in numbers, thankfully. But last night I played, and I made it all the way to day 20, and I never found my first piece of flint. I couldn't believe it. I was walking everywhere. I was trying to search. These guys were already had found their camp. And, you know, I asked if they wanted to join up and, you know, invite me, but they never really did say anything. I guess they were worried maybe that I was streaming, which I don't stream to the public, you know, public venue like that. But even though Klei Entertainment provides it on the server, to me it's just, you know, game etiquette that you don't really want to, you know, broadcast without people knowing that you're broadcasting. Don't really need the torch yet, so I can turn it off. Now it is nightfall, and as soon as dusk starts, that's what I call the little, like this time of day, the sun's not out, but the midnight hour hasn't quite happened. Now of course in the winter the midnight hour gets longer and longer. And right now it's dusk, so it's dark. So your character, no matter who the character is, will start to get a little scared. Start to get a little nervous because it is dark. Now there are things you can do in the daylight to raise your sanity. There are all kinds of little things that you can craft. You can craft garland wreaths that you wear on your head. And a few other things that you can do later on we'll show you. There are some great hats, some dapper clothes, I think is the way the game explains it. But there are all kinds of things that you can do to adjust your sanity, or you can just adjust your sanity with food. Now to me that's the easiest way because food is abundant in the game. Now last night when I was playing on a public forum, you know, they had come in and they weren't really playing cooperatively. You know, they were kind of, every man was trying to go off and show what they can do, and that's competitive. And the great thing about competitive is that the players in game to come and see your base. And then you can show off and you can show them what you were able to do in the same amount of days. But last night I played to day 21, and I should have probably recorded it. But I did. I survived all the way to day 21, which is winter. The day right before winter, I found my first piece of flint and was able to cut down a tree. Now that is really difficult. I was able to find food right away, and of course with grass and sticks I can make traps for bunnies and other small things like frogs and other small, you know, ground animals. Excuse me, ground mobs I should say, little monsters of battle. But, you know, I really couldn't find any flint, so I could make no axes, I could make no pickaxe. I didn't have a good start. So I couldn't find any stone, I couldn't make a fire pit, I could only make, you know, a tiny fire. And if you notice, this is a regular beehive, and this is a beehive queen. She will grow, and she will get bored staying there, and she may even move around. She's over here battling these hornets. See, and that's a hornet nest there, if you can see. Oh, and they're coming out after me because I got too close. And they can smell me coming a mile away. Alright, they're no longer chasing me. Once the sound effect is gone, you can kind of relax a little bit. Alright, we know that streams. But this guy right here is what's called a touchstone. See this little guy with the pig skins? That little thing there. If you've never played before, if you turn into a spooky ghost in this mode, if you're playing survival mode, as a spooky ghost you can come right over here and hover over that, haunt it, and it will, because that's like meat and skin and bones if you notice that touchstone, so it will give you a body back. It's not your same body, but it looks the same and it acts the same, and you have the same, might be a little less on health and a little less on hunger depending on, you know, but you can only use it one time. Now there are 2 of those sometimes in the world. Sometimes randomly you might get a third, but it's very rare. I mean super rare. I've seen 1 sometimes, but I just haven't found the second. Sometimes they're close together. Oh no, we're losing our connection quality, so we may have to cut it here.